from the Draco deck.
So now you heard it from the pros themselves. Thank you so much, Joshua, Lorenzo, and Jesse. We actually got Jesse Cotton here.
Yeah.
Talk about some big name players. However, you, Thomas, you mentioned there are some differences between what they were just talking about and the particular builds that we have, right?
Yes, so as we were saying before, we see Invoked and True Draco put here together. So typically we've seen the True Draco deck already. Lots of draw power. We saw Card of Demise, we saw Pot of Desires. Both of those cards have been foregone here for the ability to put in the Invoked cards. Very powerful single card engine. You only need to find a Magical Meltdown or an Alistair to get the whole engine functional. But the special summoning means that you can't get away with having a Card of Demise, and he's also opted to play hand traps in the build, so he doesn't want to be discarding his cards in the end phase. So this should play out slightly differently to how we see a normal True Draco deck, but we'll need to see whether the sheer volume of cards or the more powerful plays with the invoked cards is more impactful.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, he's replaced his, all that draw power with the invoked engine, but he's also using the spellbook of knowledge and the spellbook magician as well, just to have a little bit more consistency to it.
It's going to be very, very interesting how this match is going to play out. Let's not keep you guys waiting any longer. Let's go over to the feature match table and get our game on. All right, here you have Luan on the left-hand side, David on the right-hand side. Cards are going to be loading in very, very quickly because they just got the sign, yes, you are good to go now. And with that, round 5 is underway. Who's your favorite in this match, Thomas?
Typically, Lightsworn is in a very good position because True Draco historically doesn't play hand traps. Here we see that completely flipped on its head with the invoked True Draco actually having space for 6 hand traps. Puts him in a very good position playing into Lightsworn. It will be interesting to see who's won the die roll and who's chosen to go first here. Obviously, the Lightsworn player will want to go first, but True Draco is often good going second. He may have opted to go second. Perhaps an invoked build more favors going first.
Interesting. So many things at play here.
It's this format is actually shaping up to be really cool. There's quite a lot more to it than.
I'm 100% sure that people on the chat are going to say, yeah, it's easy to say because you're only showing us these matches rather than
that's true.
The other matches. But if you look, we had a look at the app where we can see all the player names and the countries where they are from and the decks they are playing. There is a lot of diversity at the top of the field right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, even on the very top tables, we see a lot of other performing well. Okay, still waiting to see who's going first here. I think we're just getting the hands in.
Yeah, it's still loading in for us. And as you can see, the volunteers are also still hard at work behind those guys. So here we go. We see for David, Invocation, Terraforming, True King's Return. 2 more cards missing. While Luan has Soul Charge, Foolish Burial, Lone Fire Blossom, 2 copies of that, and Performance Damage Juggler.
This looks like a very strong hand for Luan, particularly if he's playing first, and the opposite is true for David. Invocation being a card he's only playing one of, he never wants to see that unless he's searching it with Alistair. At this point, it just denies him the ability to get it for free later when he has access to the Alistair that he'll need if he wants to play it at all anyway.
Right. So I think
we just had a deck query. So we've obviously got the deck lists here. So our judges very sneakily, without you guys hearing at home, I'm sure, didn't hear a single peep, were able to come and extract the deck list from our commentators' table and move it to the feature match area.
Yeah.
They're performing their checks now, and I'm sure they will return the deck list safe and sound.
That's a bit of extra time, probably, in that. Yeah, definitely, in that match.
Yeah.
So don't you guys worry. It's not like we're cutting their round short or something like that. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, we see the timer in the top left of the screen there, yet to tick down from 40. Yeah. So we'll just be waiting until the judges at the table are happy for everything to proceed.
Yeah. And Thomas, you have played in the feature match. how different is it compared to playing like at table 400 or something?
The first time that you play in a feature match, it is hugely different.
Yeah.
You can feel everyone watching you, even the people around the feature match table in real life and the people watching it online. The fifth time you play at the feature match table, it's just kind of fun.
Okay, okay. It's one of those things where experience plays a major role.
Absolutely. I think it certainly will do more to throw off a newer player than it will someone who's been in the game for a long time.
All right.
Okay, so the simple mistake by the judges, so we've missed some of the cards from the deck list. The full hand of the Invoked True Draco player is actually Invocation, Terraforming, True King's Return, plus Spellbook Magician, and Wind Cherries.
Right.
Okay, what are the cards that he has in his extra deck there for Winter Cherries? Do we see Scythe Framelord Omega? Yes.
Yeah, we do.
But no...
He actually had space for Totally Awesome
okay.
and a Dante. But all of that not really good against his opponent here, is it?
And no Gem Knight, Seraphonite, or the new Link monster for Lightsworn, Curious. Because those are the real setup plays that we'll be going through here for Loin.
But then again, I would be surprised if you have that much space in your extra deck. I mean, some decks do. But good start so far for Loin.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying here. Fully resolving his Predaplant combo, no hand trap, no Veiler, no Ash shutting him down. He's got Brilliant Fusion. He's got some really nice high rarity cards that look pretty cool.
Finally, somebody else on the live stream who can appreciate the high rarity cards.
I was enjoying his Champion Pack Lone Fires as well.
I didn't even see those. That would have been very exciting.
You've just woken a sleeping beast. Thank you.
Nobody else appreciates the rarities of these cards.
And not in the same extent.
No.
Let's just say it like that.
Still not been anybody with a dual terminal Trishula though.
You're one of these people. As soon as that new Reborn is going to be released, you're going to be playing it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be so cool.
Just wait until Luan summons his DT Trishula.
Oh, that would be actually amazing if that happened.
Well, he does seem... Yeah, he's got it on his deck list here, so it could happen.
Dual terminal Trishula. Did he write it out to make a point?
If we're looking at the stuff that he's played so far, although, no, he's just sent a common snow, hasn't he?
Common snow.
Brilliant Fusion in Ultimate, but only common snow.
You guys are way too judgmental.
I was a judge, just like you. You must have lost the judgmental.
I never judged a player by the cards they were playing.
Excellent mill from
by
Curious.
The rarity of their cards.
It's all about the bling.
He finds both the Shiranui Solitaire and Spirit Master to go with the snow that he was able to cherry pick from the deck with the effect of Curious.
Yeah.
He just keeps going.
Now the Soul Charge, he has access
Monster Reborn 2.0.
Absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like the best opening hand almost?
Well, he hasn't seen that grass looks greener, but save for that, he has everything.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a 9.5.
Yeah.
Is your Olympic score.
And we also see that he's playing a Naturia Beast here, so I assume there'll be a glow-up bulb in his main deck that he will be able to go through here. There's too many monsters.
Yeah. He has even more monsters in the spell card section.
Yeah.
But I don't see a glow-up bulb.
Well, I'm certain that it will be in there if he's playing the Naturia Beast.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Yeah, I'm not sure about some of these names because they're in French. Well, anyway, this field looks impressive.
Yeah, Tom, talk us through what he's actually doing here.
No doubt about it.
What's he going to aim for with this board after this Soul Charge?
He's setting up to build some Omegas, but he's going to see the Ghost Reaper here, so he won't have access to any of those. But he'll still be able to make the Naturia Beast by using the effect of Lone Fire to summon the bulb that I have to be pretty certain that he's playing at this point. There's no way that you'd play Naturia Beast in this deck without Glow Up Bulb. It requires Earth Tuner and Non-Tuner. Glow Up Bulb is absolutely the go-to.
Let's see. He's gonna find it now.
There we go.
There we go. What's the French name?
I don't know.
With the power of the internet, I will help.
Or is he going for Trishula instead?
Oh!
Yeah, it appears so.
Booba Lunescent, yeah.
Yeah,
And it is dual
if you
terminal.
look at the stream.
Amazing! This is the first time we are seeing a dual terminal Trishula on the field
Yeah,
on the live stream.
I'm so excited.
It's amazing. Look at it. It's so dotty.
And is that it?
Yeah,
that is it.
Of course, he just summoned a dual terminal Trishula. His opponent was just blinged out.
It was blinked out.
He was blinged out of the game.
Wow. He
Did
almost
we see what card was banished from hand by the effect of Trishula?
True King's Return.
Oh, interesting
good.
that he waited for that to resolve rather than concealing the information.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Yeah, he could have, as soon as... I mean, I don't know if the opponent saw it. I just have it on the app because the judge was like quick on his feet and let us know. So there is a chance that he shuffled up before.
Yeah, the exactities of when he could have surrendered, though, get a little bit weird. Because in theory, you can only surrender in an open game state.
Really?
Yeah.
Since when is that using the chain?
That's what I'm saying. You can't, like, I chain to your Trishula to surrender the game. So, in theory, if it was an open game state when he then performed the Trishula summon, if he thinks he was going to go into the True Beast, yeah, it all gets very complicated for not a lot of advantage.
I don't know that I've ever seen any technical rulings on when you're allowed to concede.
Yeah,
I've read the policy documents, but I wasn't aware that was in there.
I think it may be something that is only enforced at like the World Championships or something like that. That might be where I'm getting it from.
There are certainly some very strict rules about conceding at the World Championships. I'm not even sure that you are allowed to.
No,
yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly now where I've seen that before.
I'm trying to remember if I'm allowed to tell. Which is, from what I remember, players are strongly encouraged. Let's just put it this way: they are strongly encouraged to not give up during the World Championship, even if they.
Yeah, Ollie remembered for me.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's like 100% thing. I remember that one player did actually concede at the World Championship, and a lot of people that were watching were really upset about it.
Yeah.
So they let him know, like, no, we don't want this at the World Championship. But that, of course, is also a question of culture. It's a big question of culture. For somebody who is playing like super competitively, giving up a game is not a big deal. They're like, this is part of the game. I need to win the second game or the third game. Yeah. For somebody who is playing, let's say, for honor, for the lack of a better word, which is more common in Japan. Not saying like all of the players there are doing it, but it's more likely that they are having this mindset. For them, it's a bit more frowned upon from what I learned when I was head judging the World Championship.
The World Championship is still subject to time on the round, yes?
Yes. Yes, it is.
So there's absolutely a competitive advantage to being able to concede a game in any situation where you're under time pressure.
Yeah. It's a bit of a contradiction in that sense. Yeah. In a way, but yeah.
That's what I've only been able to attend 2 World Championships in my time, and
yeah, I'm sure there are like a million people on the stream chat who are like, yeah, you're such a noob. I've been to all of them. Yeah,
probably. And I think that I don't want to use the word clash, but that's kind of the word that I could think of in my head of the cultures that come together and it's really great to see because
it's very interesting.
You learn a lot of different things about a lot of different people. It's really, really nice.
All right, so some cards from the side deck must have moved into the main deck. Didn't really catch that, to be honest. For Laurent, what's likely coming in?
We see Twin Twisters, I think that is, and Cosmic Cyclones. They're both really big cards in this matchup. He hasn't yet seen that there is Invoked on the other side of the table. He must only know the True Draco side. We actually see a lot less by way of continuous traps from this Invoked True Draco deck that we've seen in other rounds, where Monarch's Erupt is very popular. But regardless, just being able to take out Dragonic Diagrams is still a really important part of winning this match.
Right.
Just want you both to know that I've just been told by one of our viewers that his computer actually crashed when the DT Trishula was played. That's how powerful that was.
Wow.
Just so you know.
Forcing people to scoop it up all across the globe.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to underestimate the card anymore. I feel like it could make me like pass out for 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be waiting for you in a dark alley.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't want that to happen for the first time ever when I'm doing the stream commentary, that I'm suddenly passing out for a little bit.
No, that would be bad.
All right, so good start for David. I mean, more of a start than last match where he never got to play. Not the perfect start, however. But as Thomas pointed out, he's all about assembling that big monster and then just saying, okay, see if you can handle it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can't.
Masterpiece is pretty good.
He picks up 2 draws there from the True Draco Heritage, which refreshes his hand nicely. I think he might have
got an Ash
picked
Blossom.
up an Ash. Okay, so Ash Blossom, the best hand trap to have against this Lightsworn deck. Shuts down all the most powerful plays, the Predator Plants and the Grass.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting pretty worried that he was going to play Left Arm Offering just now. I saw it in Lone's hand. That'd have been bad.
He's got Shiranui Solitaire was that, Monster Reborn, Left Arm Offering in hand, Raid in hand of the Lightsworn, and possibly another card that might be missing.
Yeah, we're missing a couple of cards.
Forbidden Chalice in his hand, I just saw when he
Correct.
shuffled it there.
Forbidden Chalice and Cyframe Gear Gamma.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think we're going to see Gamma doing anything here. He would have needed to have found a way to bait the Masterpiece into using its effect whilst he still had an empty field.
So there's the Monster Reborn.
In many ways, I'm actually surprised that Luan has chosen to leave Gamma in his deck through side decking. I don't think that it's hugely effective against True Draco, so that suggests that he might not have actually seen what deck he was playing against if David had chosen to scoop up his cards before revealing that.
Yeah, that's quite a fun thing though, isn't it? Because in this particular version of Invoke True Draco, there are hand traps, so Gamma could make that difference.
So hard to read your opponent in this format.
Yeah.
There's just too many options. All right. So on second attempt.
Yeah, so definitely going to play Left Arm Offering now. Now that the Ash is gone.
And we'll surely see that Grass looks greener making an appearance.
I was getting a little worried that he wasn't playing it then. That'd be bad.
Let's just say it's kind of unlikely.
Yeah.
Just see David totting up how many cards are out of his deck at this point. He plays 41 in total.
Yep. I'm not going to lie. I've actually had that happen. I was playing a trading card game, and I went to... There was a card that was my key card in my deck, literally all hinged on this one card. I played through my entire deck, and I needed this one card to kind of refill my deck again. And I went to find it, and I wasn't playing it. And it was actually in my deck box. Yeah, it wasn't great.
Okay, so here we have a very, very big, the grass looks greener resolve.
Dotscaper coming out there. It's an interesting Cyber's monster from recent deck. If it's sent to the graveyard or if it's banished, it special summons itself to the field. Each effect can only be used once per duel, and you can only use one of the 2 effects per turn. So you mill it on one turn, it summons itself out to the field, and then on a later turn you can banish it from your graveyard for the effect of snow, and it will summon itself back again.
That's very good.
It's a really useful piece for being able to summon a Trishula. So, for example, if you
I like
have
it even more now.
if you have the pieces to be able to summon an Omega, throw in a Dotscaper on top of that, and you've got a Trishula.
It's almost like a baking recipe.
Yeah.
It's like, while you're at it, just throw in a little bit of that.
Yeah.
A pinch of Scraper.
It definitely sounds like a great addition to this deck. Because it was playing Giant Rex at one point, wasn't it?
It still is. Giant Rex is an absolutely fantastic card for this deck.
Imagine both of these. This Giant Rex plus the Dotscaper would be great to be able to banish with
You can tell, like, somebody sees the writing on the wall, like the entire table was shaking just now.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, now I know the reason why the table was shaking.
Oof. This is just adding insult to injury. Honestly,
that's pretty good.
And that Masterpiece isn't even immune to monster effects.
Nope, it's really not. And that's some serious advantage being gained here from this Trishula.
Oh man, I would hate to play against Loa.
That's brutal.
As you can see, you're much more likely to resolve it if it's dual terminal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every other time we've seen it on the stream, I remember when Umut summoned it, it was...
You two just get a room.
I've got a room with my Trishula. I don't need anyone else.
Okay. Make sure that this never leaves the confined space of the feature match area here.
Good. Good.
Your better half would not like
No,
to hear that.
I'm sure she wouldn't. So Trishula, breaking the board.
It's still a thing.
Yeah.
The original pain train.
Yeah.
Oof. And she just keeps going.
Yeah. This is the first time we're seeing this Light Swan zombie deck.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking about this? Because to me, this is looking really strong.
It honestly, it looks like a Swiss Army knife that has even more pieces than you're used to seeing.
Yeah.
And it's so fast at the same time. It's making a very strong case right now.
Yeah. Well, having spent most of 2017 traveling around UK regionals playing against JY, I know just how brutal this deck can be. He's done amazing things with it, and even my own brother plays this at a lot of events. I have huge respect for the deck, and I think we're just seeing a real showcase here of exactly what it can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And currently, obviously, Luan has the upper hand. David was in pretty good shape. It looked like he was in pretty good shape up until it was Luan's turn, and he just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. Trishula.
Was there a better possible start for David? Do you think, Thomas? Not with the cards he had. I'm just saying in general. Do you think there was a better possible turn one for him that would have stopped all of this play from Luan?
Floodgates, but they aren't in his deck. So we saw other versions of the True Draco deck playing Floodgate traps and Floodgate monsters in Inspector border.
Yeah.
The Light Swan zombie deck really struggles to deal with an Inspector border.
Yeah.
You have to open with a copy of Brilliant Fusion and be able to get a fusion monster on the board to be even able to activate a single monster effect.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you think that this matchup has just come down to deck building?
It's not so much a deck building choice in that you could say it was an error, but this particular matchup just shows how this version of the True Draco deck is much less effective against Light Swan and Zombie.
Yeah, certainly. I was not applying it. It was an error, but yeah, just it's interesting that David has obviously chosen this different version. It definitely must have been working for him against some of the other decks, but against this Light Swan Zombie deck, it's really kind of fallen out of favor for him.
Yeah, I mean, we did say it at the beginning. These guys, they were seated at table number 6, so both of these guys undefeated. We might be able to look at their player match history.
Yeah.
Let's just try and bring that up for Laurent.
I think how I would most simply describe this is that in a fair game of Yu-Gi-Oh, the deck that does more wins. So here we see the Light Swan deck does a lot more, so it's likely to win. If you want to play a deck that does less, you need ways to stop anything from happening on either side of the table. So True Draco in some ways does a bit less, but if you have an Inspector border, you can stop your opponent entirely. So here both players are trying to do things, and the one that does more things is going to come out on top 9 times out of 10.
Right. So Laurent was going up against Marcel Krüger, who was playing Pendulum FTK in round 1.
Yeah. This is actually a really interesting match history.
Yeah. He won against Patrick Kapitein from the Netherlands, who was playing Light Swan. Then against Marvin Kamara from Switzerland, who was playing True Draco. Then he won against Leonard Max, who played also True Draco, and now for the 3rd time in a row, just this time with Invoked on top of it, he's going up against True Draco.
Yeah, we see
he's
that
definitely in this mindset of playing against True Draco right now.
He's won each of his matches up to this point with a 2-1 record.
No, sorry, that is not correct.
Okay.
That's just, it just displays. That's the default.
Oh, yeah, of course,
setting.
we don't have that on the match slips,
we don't,
so that's just what it's
the
showing.
The scorekeeper's pretty busy as it stands.
Yes.
For David Schmidt, he went up against Spiral in round 1. Then he beat Pendulum Magician, then Spiral again, and then Pendulum Magician again. So this is the first time he's facing... Sorry. Yeah, it is the first time he's facing Light Swan Zombie Grass. Although I think the element of surprise is not the crucial factor in this game. It was Laurent making the most of his chances, and in both games just finding that dual terminal Trishula.
Yeah, exactly.
Which made all the difference and is so much easier to summon.
Yeah.
All right, but it's It's a bit too early to celebrate Luan's victory. It's still David's turn for the time being. And he's cleaning shop here.
Yeah.
And we'll see that the Ignis will be protected from destruction by battle by the Dragonic diagram.
Yeah, that's going to stick around at least for a little while.
What's the base attack points of Ignis Heat?
It's 2,400.
So with the 300 bonus from the Dragonic diagram, Trishula isn't even able to survive a battle because they will try to trade and the protection of the diagram will keep the Ignis alive whilst Trishula falls.
Yeah. Unless the dual terminal effect manages to keep him alive. It's hard to say. I've never seen Trishula have to battle before.
Normally it just causes opponents to just sleeve up.
Yeah.
To scoop, basically.
Do we see Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard for Luan? I know that he milled a lot of cards, but I'm not sure that he hit one.
I think 2 of them got banished.
Yeah, 2 of them got banished. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
I don't think he has one. It's a good point. And he's even got the combo pieces, or some of the combo pieces in his graveyard. I think he's got a Mitsuki there, however. So he's got... I mean, look at this graveyard. It's just crazy.
Surely you would think that he has some kind of option.
Yeah, something must be in there. Nope.
Nope.
Nothing. I take that back.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
No, absolutely not.
Oof. 2 snows that are banished, and he's got like
That's
Shiranui
pretty
Solitaire also in his graveyard, so he's got the cards that he wants to banish. So...
Yes, as soon as Luan finds his way into a Fairy Tale Snow, he has this game absolutely sewn, but if he can't get there, he's really struggling. He's got so many cards in his graveyard, so many resources that he just doesn't have access to. The Giant Rex would be a tool for recursion. The Dotscaper, another monster that summons itself back. And even the Shiranuis.
Yeah.
The destruction of the Spirit Master, the resummon from the Solitaire. It just does nothing for him until he can find that last piece.
It's so odd with so many cards that there's like nothing in there that makes a difference.
Yeah, it just really goes to show how key Fairy Tale Snow is to this deck.
And here we see the 1-card engine that we've been talking about, the Invoked, is really going to start turning this battle around.
Yeah, it's going to put some serious work in here.
That must feel really, really nice for David, who was like standing with his back against the wall with just 2,000 life points remaining. Now he's on the way up. He's step by step he's turning this around.
So he'll be able to take a light monster from Luan's graveyard here. And of course, with the Invoked engine, he'll also have access to Purgatrio if we see Luan building a wide board of lots of defense position monsters. It swings in and it can clear out 8,000 life points in a heartbeat.
Right.
Yeah, definitely not something that...
So it seemed like this match was almost over. And now, step by step, David is hanging in there, gaining the upper end. And is there something that Luan could draw into that would change this now? A snow.
How many snows is he playing?
I thought it was 3. I just assumed 3, to be honest.
Snow would not actually help a great deal here because the effect of Mechaba would be able to negate and banish it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's got a Pot of Desires, though. So 2 more cards for him. Pretty good top deck.
Yep.
It's always easier to find an out with 2 cards than with 1.
Yeah.
Was there a 3rd snow? Don't think so.
Oh, that's rough. He drew Desires and Ash. So he's got Desires, Ash, Gold Sarko in his hand.
I'm not even sure that he has enough cards left in his deck to activate that last Desires, even if he sees another turn.
Right. Which is highly unlikely right now.
It's not looking good.
No. So we might be seeing a 3rd game between these 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. David fought through a Trishula.
Yeah, that was impressive.
And he was very calm and collected doing that.
Yeah, he does seem pretty calm the whole time.
At this point, I'd be tempted for Luan, activate the gold sarcophagus, check the deck, see if there's anything that I'm going to draw into for next turn. Oh, no, he decides he's seen enough.
Yeah, but keep going. What would you have done?
Well, he had only 4 cards in his deck. So if there is, you can activate the gold sarcophagus, look at your deck, see if you have an out. If you don't have an out, scoop it up right away, stop wasting your own time.
Right.
If you do have an out, banish one of the other cards, so you only have 3 cards in your deck. And at that point, you have a 1 in 3 chance of drawing your solution to this problem.
Although it's still kind of unlikely that he gets to see another turn.
Yes, he'd have to set his Ash Blossom.
And hope.
Block an attack with that. There's a good chance that with David just drawing 1 card per turn, he has no way to apply further pressure. But
yeah, you never know.
He decides that he's seen enough and wants to conserve these last 14 minutes to play a game 3.
Okay, so we see some side decking action again with these 2 guys. 60 cards is always easier to make room for certain cards.
Yeah.
And comparing it to the 41 of David. David is playing Inspector Border, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, Cosmic Cyclone, 1 copy of Raigeki, 3 Solemn Strikes, and then 1 Solemn Warning and 1 Solemn Judgment.
I think we saw a Glow-Up Bulb coming back in from the side deck there. He's maybe going back towards the Naturia Beast line, given that he'll be playing first in.
Yeah, I saw that Glow-Up Bulb just now.
He still hasn't opted to take out the Cyframe Gear Gammas and the driver, though. Still wants to have some protection against hand traps, but I don't feel like we'd be seeing a great deal of hand traps. We've seen an Ash Blossom and we saw a Ghost Reaper, but obviously you can never use Gamma against Ghost Reaper because by the definition of the activation requirements for Ghost Reaper, you must have at least 1 monster.
Right.
It seems odd that he would keep that Gamma in. Perhaps he's expecting to see Monster and Trap Masterpiece, but even then, most of the time Masterpiece is being activated, he has a monster. It doesn't feel like the best card to be keeping in for this particular matchup.
Do you think it's a little odd that Luan is not just playing the Instant Fusion Millennium Eyes instead of playing the Gammas now?
Possibly. The extra monster zone access is definitely very important here. But certainly being a level 1, you can use it like the Dotscaper, turn any Omega play into a Trishula play.
Yeah.
Luke's nodding with fervent approval here.
Oh yeah.
I was interested because I think now instead of playing like
he wanted to hear it in all of its glory.
Yeah, instead of playing a card that you don't want to draw ever, which is the driver and the Gammas, and the Gamma has way more of a restriction than Millennium Eyes. I think the only reason that you would not want to play it is that we don't have Linkaribo here in the European territory now.
Not
so
yet.
Turning Millennium Eyes into Linkaribo is it's just free, whereas we don't have anything for that right now. Whereas in America, you would absolutely play it, I think.
We also have the benefit in this particular deck that the Predaplants are able to search for any fusion card. So if you already have a Brilliant Fusion, get an instant. If you already have instant, get a Brilliant.
Yeah, so I think it worked really well. I think the only drawback I can possibly think is the Linkaribo.
And the extra deck space.
Yeah, that's also
really tight extra deck in any of these Light Sworn Zombie Grass decks. They have so many options that they could be playing.
Yeah.
So Luan has it looks like a good start with a Lone Flyer Blossom. He's got a charge with the Light Brigade. Yeah. He does have a Fairy Tale Snow. I'm not saying you want to draw this card. Most of the time you want to mill this card. But it's
he's
definitely
able to discard it.
Here we go. I'm just eating my own words again. But yeah, it's much better than seeing it getting banished.
Absolutely.
So good start. And I think we might be having Chalice and Gamma as well. Is that from last round?
I definitely saw a Gamma in his hand.
No, just now.
I didn't see Chalice.
All right, so good opening hand. And but you said the Gamma, you're not sure about it.
No, I don't feel like it has such a strong place in this particular matchup.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe put the focus on David's opening hand. We got Masterpiece, Spellbook of Knowledge, True King's Return, Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix.
Yeah.
And a fifth card.
Spellbook Magician.
Ah, Spellbook Magician.
That helps the hand a huge amount. The Spellbook of Knowledge, a brick card with no other spellbooks, unless you can find your way into an Alistair or the Spellbook Magician, but he's got his way into drawing some more cards now, so he can cycle through and look for some new answers.
I really like Spellbook of Knowledge. I think it's that's another one of those little engines that that's going to fit into a lot of decks.
Yes.
Going forwards.
With the Ventrilo Duo Link monster from Extreme Force, being able to trade in any normal summoned monster for a spellcaster means that anything that normal summons has access to tribute fodder for the Spellbook of Knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's a really great engine.
So, by the way, guys, we are looking at 9.5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, this match has gone really quick.
Yeah, kind of. But it's crunch time now.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is where it counts the most. But they both reasonably fast players. I gotta give him credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys have been motoring through.
Yeah, so many shiny cards on Laurent's side of the field.
I have to say, from this point, it's looking very good for Laurent. He's found his way into the Curious Lightsworn Dominion. He's going to be able to choose anything that he wants here. It could be the Bulb, it could be the Mizuki. He's already found a Snow, which is typically what you need to use your targeted mill here. But he has it already. He can make guaranteed a Trishula play or a Naturia Beast play.
Yeah, he's got so many options open to him here. He could go with anything.
I think, personally, my choice would have been the Glow-Up Bulb there and use the Giant Rex in the graveyard, banish with the Snow, and summon out a Naturia Beast.
Yeah, I think 100% with what you can see on the screen, especially, is the perfect... That becomes the perfect play.
Okay, he went down a different path. He's happier with this.
Yeah, decided to go with Skull Dread instead.
I don't know that I
don't
agree
like
with
this.
that play. He had so much presence on the board. He had a Curious that threatens to get back any card from the grave if it's destroyed. I would far rather have been sat on a Naturia Beast, safe in the knowledge that my opponent's going to have to work hard to get their spell cards through. Even if it does sometimes struggle against the True Dracos just being able to set a trap card and tribute it, I think that having the ability to potentially take an easy win in the game, locking out spells, is the route that I would have gone for.
Yeah.
It does sound very hard to turn down. So Snow is making a comeback. The first one in this match, in fact.
Yeah, this seems very odd to me, the way that Laurent has done this, but he's doing pretty well in this tournament right now. So maybe he sees something that we don't. It's very difficult to cast this deck with having such a big graveyard. It's hard to remember everything in the graveyard. I don't think he's used Skull Dread's special summon yet, has he?
Yes, he has.
Did he use that already?
It to summon the Raiden.
Okay, great. That's a good usage of it.
I think we're likely to be seeing a Tornado Dragon, or does he play an Abyss Dweller at this point? Yeah, there is an Abyss Dweller in the extra deck. Very strong card against the True Draco match. Although, he certainly, with that hand, would have been able to field Abyss Dweller and Naturia Beast. And
shutting down spells and the graveyard.
Yeah.
At that point, I would put Laurent as a lock to win the match, but with this Saryuya setup, there's still lots of things that could cause problems for him.
Yeah, it's interesting how he decided to go for this matchup. There's definitely a couple of questions we already have for him in terms of decision making. Well, maybe he knows something that we don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been piloting this deck all day, and especially the past 2 matches he's played against True Draco, so he's definitely in tune with what True Draco players generally don't want to see, and he's putting that on the board right now.
Yeah, the Abyss Dweller is a very strong choice. Omega wasn't able to get much value with the return. He just put back a Lone Fire for an extra card for sheer number for Snow.
Yeah.
And as soon as any card gets played on David's side of the board, we'll see Omega ripping another one from the hand.
I do agree with you though. I think the Naturia Beast would have been quite a lot better, especially after seeing that he's playing Invoked. I think that makes it even more a good play to play the Naturia Beast.
Well, let's see where David can go here. Yeah, it's the Spellbook Magician. And he plays Fetch.
Yeah, can you get knowledge? Sorry, not knowledge. Secrets. Secrets will then go and search for knowledge, unless he's playing another blue boy.
He has knowledge in his hand already, so regardless of which spellbook gets hit, if one of them does get taken out here, we know that David will still be able to resolve his draw 2. So see Disciples banished from the hand.
Yeah. In fact, probably the best thing for David would have been for it to hit one of the spellbooks.
I'm not so convinced. I think that David wants to use the 2 spellbooks in hand together and possibly leave the Magician on the field as tribute fodder for a Masterpiece.
Fair enough, yeah.
Unaffected by monster effects.
Yeah.
Really critical when you're playing against Snow.
That's true. Very true. Yeah. Just as you say, yeah.
So I think he's just found his way into that Masterpiece. Does he have a spell to it? Yes, he has another copy of Disciples that will allow him to get that additional summon of a True Draco monster.
He naturally drew that for his turn.
Like a boss.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah. Okay, Snow tries to make another comeback.
The Spirit Master coming out here will be able to destroy the Disciples before he's able to use the effect for the extra summon.
Ah, okay. That's going to stop that play right off.
And Disciples not even being able to activate its effect in the graveyard because of the effect of Abyss Dweller.
Yep.
Right. So things originally shaped up nicely for Loin. Is, I guess, David back in the game, or is he still on track and missing out a couple of steps here?
I still think that Loin is very much in control of this game. David had a threat, but the threat was quickly neutralized. The combination of Snow and Spirit Master in the grave, being able to take out any face-up card, has shown itself really strong here. Not many cards remaining in the graveyard for Loin.
Yeah.
So he may need to draw something good to be able to recycle and get enough resources to keep using Snow for the rest of the game.
Right.
But just taking control in the early turns is far more important than having things for later on, because a lot of the time the games don't last until later on.
There is no later on, yeah.
There is no later on.
All right. So back to Loin. Where does he go from here?
I think that the fact this Dweller has been able to live for 2 turns is glorious.
I think he's just drawn Charge of the Light Brigade there, which is absolutely perfect for him here. Being able to fully restore cards in his graveyard enough to be able to activate Fairy Tale Snow again if it's sent to the graveyard. The only thing that I'm checking is how many Light Swan monsters does he play, because we've seen 2 copies of Raiden already. And some players have opted to get rid of Wolf altogether. So if he only plays 2 Light Swan monsters, that charge in his hand is doing absolutely nothing.
So he's thinking about this next play, and now he's found something. Seems like the Dweller has finally...
Yeah, it's
put in the work, and now it's time to take a back seat on the bench.
Yeah, if you're able to get 2 effects out of Dweller, though, there's quite a few of those rank 4 monsters that it was always the case that if you managed to get the value out of it, then it's great.
What were the materials used for that Borreload?
It was Borreload.
Yes. Saryu, Abyss Dweller, and only 1 other. That's only 3 monsters.
Yeah, it was 3 monsters if I remember correctly. Or are they just showing?
Borreload is a link 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. They're just showing there, like, it was these 4. It was Snow as well. Unless...
No, there were only 3. So he would need to use his Dotscaper as well. So link 4.
I think he may be misunderstanding how the ability to use a high link monster to turn it into a lower link another link monster works.
Yes, so a link monster is only ever able to be used for its full link rating, or as a link 1, just as a generic monster.
Absolutely.
You can't take some and get change.
No.
Yeah.
But
Otherwise,
Dotscaper's no big
Firewall
deal.
Dragon would be far too good.
He's like, oh, I got this. Doesn't
Because
matter.
Firewall Dragon already needed help.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I heard that.
But yeah, as expected, the Dotscaper disappears for this Borrelord Dragon.
And now we are in extra time. Thanks to Kiwi. So currently David is ahead in terms of life points, but his opponent has a few more turns. And that's
What was this masterpiece immune to? Can it be affected by spell cards?
I'm thinking about that right now.
Trap and...
I think it was a monster.
Yeah, I thought it was the face-down Spellbook Magician.
Yeah, Spellbook Magician. So there's some discussion about that. We can see in our overhead camera that Kiwi's at the table judge. He's talking to David and explaining how the cards are interacting. I'm not sure what the question is, to be honest.
It seems, this is just from what I can tell, it seems like Loan is attacking and then he's playing the effect of Borrelord and chaining the Chalice to negate the monster protection of Masterpiece.
So when he attacked with the Borrelord Dragon, Masterpiece was activated, banishing Disciples from the grave to target the Omega.
Yeah.
As a Chainlink 2, Chalice was chained, trying to negate the effect of Masterpiece. From that, I assume that the Masterpiece is only immune to monsters and traps.
Yes.
And then afterwards, we'll be proceeding to the damage step,
yeah,
wherein Borrelord is going to be activating its effect on the Masterpiece that is now unaffected
by everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No longer protected by its own effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the situation.
Yeah, that's what I think. I agree. I think that's exactly what's going on here.
So yeah, that is a bit more confusing situation.
Yeah.
A little bit more out of the ordinary than what we usually see.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know whether they're already in the damage step or what, or whether it's Masterpiece's effect. I don't know exactly, but
if they're resolving the effect of Masterpiece, then they aren't in the damage step.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't know where the
confusion comes from.
Well, the confusion is fine, but I don't know where the extended confusion is. I feel like it's a short explanation, and
yeah, I was about to ask, do we have an appeal? But I don't think so.
That's what I was thinking.
It'll be interesting to speak to the players after the round and find out exactly what happened there.
Yeah,
yeah. David just drew a card now.
So yeah, it's the first extra turn, and it's time to check graveyards again.
Okay, Tom looks just as confused as I feel.
The only thing that I can think might have happened is if Masterpiece was immune to spells and monsters, and so none of the cards did anything.
Yeah, I really don't know. I thought it was the Spellbook Magician that you attributed.
Yeah.
I wish we had like an instant replay machine.
Yeah, it's one of the things to put on the list for the future.
Yeah.
Okay, so still more confusion. What card is going to leave the field at what point?
Well, suddenly it looks like David's winning.
It certainly does, with 2 monsters and no opposition.
And I don't think he has any targets available in his deck for that charge of the Light Brigade, so he has nothing at this point. From a game that it felt like he had no way to lose, he's staring down Majesty Maiden and Masterpiece with nothing to his name.
I was like, how is it possible that he doesn't have a target for a charge of the Light Brigade?
People have been really skimping on the Light Spawn monsters nowadays.
Yeah, he's got 2 copies. I mean, he's also had 1 million cards in his graveyard.
Yeah, he's milled a lot.
I think David is attempting to activate Majesty Maiden in the damage step here. No, so that's all gone through.
And he drew Ash, which is...
Oof, 350
not gonna do much.
life.
It makes Black Rose Dragon.
Is he got a copy of Black Rose Dragon?
Oh, certainly. You wouldn't want to play this deck without one.
Awesome. That'll do it.
That will get rid of the board, but then he still only has 350 LP.
Yeah, he's got nothing.
And
no
nothing to follow it up, yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah, you can use the Omega and then also Black Rose.
He's using the effect of Omega to take away the last material for the Masterpiece effect. And the response is Chainlink 2, Majesty Maiden, Chainlink 3, Masterpiece.
Yeah, that's a clever move from Lon.
And does he have another snow activation?
I think we got just enough material for snow.
It would have been quite nice, possibly, to even see a Chainlink 4 Snow being able to use the Omega still in grave. It's not likely to matter having that extra card in his extra deck, so he may have had some potential value there from having an extra card.
Yeah. And here we see the Black Rose Dragon.
Oh my.
It's not ultimate rare, Tom. Goes rare even. Sad times. But it's going to do the job.
I don't think it's going to do any job, really. He's left himself with no field.
Yeah, and still 350 LP, so nothing changes.
Wow, what a turnaround.
Yeah, and in the end, David Schmidt. What a cool player, honestly. He never, like, blinked with an eyebrow or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk about it in the post-match analysis. Yeah, we just saw a very interesting match. It seemed like Luan Cite-Mielle was absolutely in a perfect position to take this home.
Yeah.
First game, very early Trishula. Second game, very early Trishula.
Yeah.
Unlike in the first game, however, David Schmidt with his Invoke True Draco just kept his calm, found his big monsters, his big guns, just put them on the field and said, okay, let's see how you handle it. And, and apparently, there was never anything that Luan really could do. He was coming back in some ways, but he never beat those really heavy hitters.
Yeah, I think it was all down to the snow in that second game that he just they were taken out really too soon for his liking.
Yeah, yeah. He had 2 banished, and the third one I think he never saw.
Yeah, exactly.
So
even if he had saw it, David did have something to stop it at that point.
Yeah.
So.
And in that third game, I think there was infinite snow action actually.
Yeah.
But even that didn't it wasn't enough to overpower David Schmidt's Invoke True Draco.
I think we saw some very questionable play in that game 3. We definitely had the ability to have an Abyss Dweller and a Naturia Beast
in
on
the opening
first turn.
Yeah.
Saryuya at that point was trying to draw cards when he already had all the tools that he needed.
Yeah,
he could have just consolidated into solid interaction pieces rather than hoping to draw something.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I don't even know what possibly he could have drawn there that would have been better than what we already suggested.
And also that Dweller, he was hanging around for 2 turns.
Yeah.
So it's very likely that his opponent would have had no way to deal with that field actually.
Yeah.
So I guess that is a question that we should be asking David.
Yeah, absolutely.
What he was thinking in that moment when it looked like his opponent was assembling all of that. Anything else where you guys are like, okay, this gave me something to think about?
that was just an interesting game, and it's great to see the Light Swan deck on the live stream now.
Right.
I'm not entirely sure what happened with that borrow load. I'm going to have to watch this one back later.
Okay.
Yeah, figure out exactly what went on. Well, we can ask David, I'm sure.
Yeah, or of course the judge from the feature match area. All right, guys, we're going to try and have an interview. I cannot promise it because there's a good chance that the main event has already advanced up to the point where we have to just hurry and get the next game in. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope we're going to be back in a few seconds with the interview of the winner.